Action! Describe Vietnam. What has it been like?
Flipping mental. I think it's probably the biggest culture shock I've ever had. I think maybe all of us have ever had. It's hot, crazy, loud as anything. Really colourful, really friendly. It feels pretty much safe everywhere you go.
Let's go.
So we cycled from Hanoi to Da Nang, which is about 600 miles, just over 600 miles in 12 days, stopping off at about 10 different places, sort of scattered around the country.
Status report.
I failed day one, so we're staying here between two mountains with a sign on it. We think it's Vietnamese Hollywood. Also, Jack's the first to get sunburned.
Why did you have to say that? My mum's going to be so mad with me.
Yeah, no, but me and Tim, we've managed.
Yeah.
And we're still milky.
Our parents are going to be really proud. So we're about halfway up a big, well, I'd say probably 3/4 of the way up a big hill out of Ho Minh. It's pretty hot, it's about 34 degrees. Just taking a little breather. Sam's getting a bit shaky. We currently have 3 pannier bags on each of our bikes, helping Sam out. 34 degrees. 34 degrees, 10% hill, big mountain. Looking at where the road is in front of us though. I'm not sure how much longer it goes up for.
Favourite part has definitely been the sense of adventure of it all. It's literally just from the very start of planning this trip to right where we are now, it's always been just that sort of one step slightly beyond your comfort zone. It's always a step into the unknown, which is fantastic. All your bike's there for exploring, and so's the world in a sort of non-hippie way, you know, and that's exactly what we've been doing. It's just been great. If I don't do some sort of form of exercise during the day, I get very grumpy very quickly.
fitness, that's my life. That's why I wanted to come out and see this, because I just think it's mega. It's like the two best things, combining exercise and like seeing the world. It's great.
Right, day 8. Day 8. And we're about to embark on probably the hottest cycle yet. It is currently... Shut up! Day 8. We're currently about to embark on the hottest cycle yet. It's currently... saying it's 36 degrees.
It was 37 at 8 AM.
Where we at? I don't know. It's hot.
This is how hot I like to be. This is how hot England is. This is how hot Vietnam is.
Mile or so more to the supermarket. Thermometer's reading 45 degrees.
I've literally never seen rain like this. There's lightning going off a few miles away, regularly, massive flashes. It is awesome, it's so intense.
So we just pulled over in this lovely scenic place to have a piss, and I thought it'd be nicer not to piss off a cliff like Jack and to go over to this bush. And then when I finished, I looked up and there was a spider probably the size of my hand, bright yellow, floating on a web about a foot in front of my face, and now I'm all shaky and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna die. Having a little sleep over there and felt something jump on my head, which I think came from off of this windowsill. So we've moved the bed out and there's rat shit on the floor.
Quite a lot on down there.
Yeah. Little ratty road lives behind here, so we're gonna flush the out till we get outside.
So I just went downstairs to find a brush, and the Vietnamese man that doesn't speak a word of English, in response to my drawing of a rat, went meow, and I had to go. And he understood, oh, right. And then walked away.
There it is, little tiny. There you go. Little siren. See ya. Out for the count. Out for the river. Out for the count. Out for the counter.
Thank you.
Well, you know, I'm famous, clearly.
If you're on a bike for, well, the longest day we did was probably, what was it, 8 hours or something like that. So, you know, that 8 hours is pretty much being active the whole time. You burn a lot of calories, that's like 4 or 5 Tom was even suggesting it could be like 10,000 calories just because of the heat and stuff. So you just end up saying rice and this big and hoping they bring something near that.
Smash a glass and break the light.
Yeah, welcome to the Tom Show. Today's a good day because I've mangoed up, 5 mango in. So I'm feeling positive. We left half an hour late. I'm not going to say why. That'll do it.
Out for the count. Out for the
I'm a bit disappointed with the banana situation, to be honest.
There's a lot of them, but they're tiny, aren't
They're
they?
like the size of my wheel, but the mangoes make up for it.
The roads are like nothing we've ever ridden before. There's no real traffic rules, I don't think. We're not even sure if you need a driving license or not. It's that sort of extreme. They just drive on any side of the road they like. They don't drive fast, and they drive quite calculated, but people on scooters pull out without looking. That's a rule for some reason, don't know why that's the thing. People in cars will pull out on you, but very slowly and consistently. They use their horns continuously to do everything, which in some ways is actually very good, especially being on a bike. If you've got a massive truck coming up behind you, then you know it's there, but oh my god, is it deafening. Like, the place never shuts up.
They normally come along and like feel our bikes and sort of like try and pick them up and like change gears, and I'm just generally quite impressed by them. They talk to us, smile at us, and then we'll eventually get around to just how bloody massive we are.
How's it going? You get a photo?
You want a photo as well, do you?
Oh.
I think most of all I've enjoyed how friendly everybody is. You stop for 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes, 30 seconds the other day we stopped and were staring at our maps trying to work out where the hell we are, and a lady stopped and she was going in the complete other direction, but it didn't matter to her. She stopped and took us down the road to our hotel that we needed to get to. She got us to follow her moped and took us there, and was incredibly friendly and lovely and spoke amazing English.
What the well, and the one small baby in country. Tomorrow follow me.
I broke my hip 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago in a mountain biking accident. It's all held together with screws now, and I can sort of semi-move my foot, which was a bit of a worry coming here. I did doubt whether I would be strong enough to do it. The first day I was an absolute mess, frankly. We did about 65 miles out of Hanoi. At about mile 50, we hit a hill. It was probably only a mile or two long, and I was already worn out, and we had to ride up this hill, and I just burned out completely. Halfway up I was sort of shaking and sweating and could hardly see. But then yesterday the High Van Pass was probably a much bigger hill, steeper I think in parts. It was 1,800 feet, and breezed up that really, just dropped it in low gear, found my way up.
What's been your favourite part? What did you enjoy the most?
Probably the Hay Van Pass, just because I love cycling.
Just going as fast as I could up the High Van Pass yesterday, and it was unbelievably spectacular to see everything out from the end of it, and it sort of capped off the trip perfectly as well.
We made it. Well, not quite.
We're almost there.
We just got one big hill to go over. It's not really a hill, it's a mountain. It's
Final hurdle.
final hurdle, yeah. That's the Hay Van Pass. It's about 5.5 miles up and then 5.5 miles down.
So just reached the top of High Van Pass, 5.5 miles of climbing, took about 35 minutes. Still out of breath, I finished about 5 minutes ago. This marks pretty much the end of a 600-mile trip across Vietnam, and this is probably the most spectacular view I've ever seen. I feel unbelievably proud of myself. I never climbed something that long, never put in that much effort. So I'm really pleased to have raised money for Meningitis Research Foundation. Being under the age of 1 and getting meningitis B, and meningitis being the thing that kills the most people under the age of 2 or 3 years old from infectious diseases. I feel pretty lucky to be able to do something like this. I was going to have it the whole time.
Sorry, mate. That's what you got to wear.
This will crush my skull more if I have a crash.
Look at the back. We're pretty motorbike right now.
I would
Not
say
gonna lie.
that Harley Davidson crew would want us. It's all you, Sam. It's all
I'm reading the Vietnam News, which is the English language newspaper for the country. Just reading this story about the road of death. There was this crash here where 13 people died in a lorry crash. It was on National Highway number 1, which is the road we've just spent 2 weeks cycling down, and it says in the newspaper, the frequency with which accidents have occurred over the past several years on National Highway number 1 has prompted many to call it the road of death. For the mere act of travelling on this highway is already considered courting dangers. Many locals say the road is cursed with bad luck.
Can we look at the photo?
Fireball. But we're tough.